Hey guys, we are back. This is TheEnder, and this is the round of 8 of the Spinu Allstars tournament. So, it looks like we are on Blue Storm. So we saw this once again. This was a common second map in the round of 16. We are in the round of 8, best of 5s. We saw the previous map was Fighting Spirit, and Mong won. But he's got 2 more wins if he wants to go to the semifinals and have a shot at the money. So let's see. So spawning at the 1 o'clock position as the red Terran, we have Mong. And as the 8 o'clock position, as the yellow Protoss, we have Shuttle. So, to recap what we saw last game, a lot of Arbiters, tons of Arbiters out of Shuttle, and I've actually seen him do a ton of really great stuff with his Arbiters in the past, not actually his Shuttles. It's really surprising when a person names himself something like, Shuttle or Firebat Hero, and you really never see them, what actually caused them to name themselves that way. You see Shuttle and he's good with Arbiters, and he's like, so why does he just not call himself Shuttle? Why doesn't he call himself Arbiter? I don't know. I really would like to see, the games that cause players to name themselves what they name themselves. If there was a particular game where Firebat Hero had this Hero Firebat that won him the game or tournament or whatever it was, I really would have liked to see that. But I don't know if those things even exist. But so Mong, he really expected some super cheese, proxy gateways or something. So he was scouting his base. He must not think too highly of Shuttle. But after that last game, you don't want to lose to something stupid in the first few minutes on your second map. So yeah, he went and he scouted his own base. Always sounds funny to say something like that. I scouted my own base, determined I was at the top. Alright, so he's going to his opponent's base, and of course Shuttle is doing more of a standard timing. Neither one are going to see anything crazy. We got the core on the way. Got the factory on the way. Probe takes a pot shot on the Marine and runs. Got goon range on the way, or most likely goon range. So the reason I say it's always most likely goon range, but you don't actually know. So when you start building getting an upgrade like that, whoa, and here we go, bring on the cheese. Yes, so when you go for these rushes that are not common, and you want to hide tech and things, you get +1 air weapons rather than Dragoon range. And the reason you do that is it costs less. So because it costs less, you can get the other building you want faster, or when you cancel it, you don't lose as much. Oh man, that SCV, he was on the same screen as that proxy building, which is probably going to be a robo, and he did not see it. Seriously? Seriously. Okay, he found it. Alright, yeah. So, yeah, Mong's chances of winning just went up like 20%, just right there with him scouting that robo. I don't know how he knew that it was going to be coming in. Maybe this is just a really bad map for PvT. I don't know it that well, but... but yeah, he found the robo. But yeah, so you go for that +1 air weapons. It allows you to get your other tech up faster. You don't lose as much due to the cancel. And so it's something that pro players will do on occasion when going for rushes. So exact same as last game, we have this single vulture who decides, hey, I'm gonna run into the Protoss base, and the Protoss is like, yeah, sure, vulture, come into my base. Wait, what? So of course all that gain that he got from getting in early and sniping a few probes is going to be lost because the Marines were just having some fun out on the map looking for the scouting probe. And the goons walk in and say like, hey, there's a bunker and it's not shooting me, so I'm just going to walk over to it. And it looked like they were able to get 3 kills, so I'm pretty sure that was 3 Marines, or 2 Marines and a SCV. So this is a weird opening. So of course the loss of those Marines means that it's going to be a whole lot longer before Mong's going to be able to push out and take out that proxy robo. Or, I mean, really, he might just go for the pylon. Because once the pylon's gone, the robo's, you know, almost worthless. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit longer. It's also annoying because, you know, your Marines are your anti-air. You're not going to be able to get Goliaths for a while. So that's going to be a bit more annoying. But that being said, you know, he did kill 3 probes with his Vulture, which always nice. Slow down those Protoss. And since he's been scouted, it looks like Shuttle might actually be, you know, calling off the attack. I mean, he's... Uh-oh. It's a trap! It's a trap! Yep. And so the trap was that, you know, of course Shuttle couldn't see those tanks, they were out of range. And they all sieged up at the same time. Of course he could have sieged up one at a time. But then, you know, as soon as Shuttle saw that first shot, he'd back away. Instead, he waited till he had 3 tanks. He focused them all on the same Dragoon, and because of that, he was able to actually, you know, get a free Dragoon kill and heavily damage the next one. But alright, so he's sending out an SCV scout because, of course, he's confused. He would have expected the, you know, the robo play to start by now. He's going to see the natural, probably pretty similar to what he expected. Okay, it's a natural, it's mining. No second gas, which means no crazy fast tech to arbiters or DTs, and he does see the third base. And, you know, third base for a Protoss player before the Terran player, very standard, but at the same time, I mean, we didn't have a third base, pretty much, for Shuttle the entire game. The entire game! I mean, he got cancelled like twice through the fancy tank drops. And it got destroyed like twice. And he took the 12 o'clock and it got destroyed. So yeah. Those third bases for Shuttle were really not working out last game. But, yeah, so we used the proxy robo just to scare Mong since it got scouted. And then since Mong's been playing super careful, he's actually possibly in a decent economic position. Just, of course, the more careful you play, you know, the more turrets you get, the more you keep your units at home. You know, the less aggressive you are, the less you might even stop making SCVs for a few seconds, you know, just to make sure that you live. But there was no attack coming; it was just a fake. So Shuttle might be in a decent position. It's sort of surprising to me that all of this was based off of one factory production. I'm not sure where Mong's money was going during that time. I'm slightly confused on that. I mean, the second factory just finished a little bit ago. I'm really not sure what was happening. Maybe he remade those Marines, and that took some minerals. Maybe he stopped making SCVs just so that, you know, he could be more careful. He also killed his own bunker, which really doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, a lot of times you destroy your own buildings if you really have, you know, pathing problems. And that's pretty common, but that's a wide open natural, so I really don't know why he'd have pathing problems. So we've got a nice little pylon wall behind Shuttle's third base, and that's going to keep vultures from being annoying and like standing, you know, running around in circles around that base. It's possible though that it could bite him in the butt when if Mong's able to move out and put some tanks next to that pylon wall, and all of a sudden Shuttle finds himself unable to close the distance. We'll see how that plays out. So Mong has opted to take his own third base, and it may or may not hold. There's really not too much anti-zealot, and there's a shuttle in addition to 5 zealots on the ground, and they have speed. So yeah, and more zealots. So of course, usually you don't want to be this zealot heavy, but versus, tanks only, no vultures, zealots will do great and super cost effective. And I mean, there's mines, but zealots can eat mines. Yeah, so this really didn't go all that well for Mong. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking, going for like one factory into 3 bases. Well, alright, so technically he had the second, he just wasn't producing much off of it. Yeah, so that's going to have to be cancelled, or it's going to go down, that command center. Yeah, I really just don't know how Mong ended up so far behind. But, yeah, so that was probably cancelled. The problem is Mong's not going to have much of an army right now. I mean, he wants to counter-harass, but... And it's true, since vultures are so really good at, harassing like that. I mean, you saw 4 vultures kill about 4 probes. That's actually pretty good harass. I mean, honestly, vultures are super cost-effective. Oh, yes, now there we go. Alright, so Shuttle's going for carriers, which of course sounds hilarious to say, but, I mean, yeah, Terrans are hard to break. I mean, running into mines and mech, it just seems so unfair. So, he's taken to the skies, and this is going to be good because, I mean, once again, you have to scout it, and then even once you scout it, you got to produce a whole lot of Goliaths. And with all these ridges, it could be really hard for the Goliaths to catch him. And not to mention, on 2 bases, that's really going to put a really decent strain on his economy. I don't know if you can produce enough Goliaths on 2 bases to deal with carriers. So, but we'll see. Man, he's just got no army. He's got 2 siege tanks. Is this one of those bugged maps where it gives, the Protoss extra resources or something? Yep, alright, so he sees the carrier. He probably saw it with the dropship already. But yeah, I want to say he should have lifted off with and run away with those tanks. You don't want to lose them to just 2 carriers. But I guess it's possible that the carriers could have chased down the dropship and just, he would have lost him anyway. So might as well leave him there and do a little bit more damage. I don't know. Either way, it's not optimal. But, Vulture, that single Vulture got like 5 probe kills. Alright, so once again, yeah. You got the single tank sieged, dropship providing the vision. The goons can come down a ramp if they want to attack the tank. And really, the mines are in the wrong spot. That's a surprising mistake from Mong. Yeah, he really likes his shuttle harassment. I mean, at this point, I really would say he's got to do something. He's just so far behind economically. But preventing mining at all 3 bases, killing some probes. Man. I mean, personally, I'd hate to play against a player who did this kind of style, this mass harassment. Yep, alright. And in this time, Mong's been working on his transition into Goliath's tank. So, Goliath tank, both consume gas, he's going to have some extra minerals. And I think that 3rd base is a mineral only, is it not? So I'm not sure where all the minerals are going to go to. Maybe he's going to go for mass turrets. Maybe he's just going to build more SCVs. Go for the vultures. And finally, like 14 minutes into the game, and he's going to be able to destroy that pylon and depower the robo. That being said, he's going to have to be careful. While he's attacking, that Protoss army knows where he is. Alright, so he's going to make some turrets. Up, Goliath, see him. Goliath, see it. Pull the Goliath back, pull the Goliath back. Oh, man. Yeah, so even though there's only 4 carriers, I mean, that's a really annoying amount. Oh, but excellent harassment. Because, of course, to control the carriers properly, you literally do have to micro them. And so a single siege tank like this shelling probes is super, super annoying. And the dropship gets away. And more tanks. Oh, man. Mong, he is putting on a show with this multi-prong harassment. And they can hit the Nexus from there? What? That's sort of, oh man, gotta hate tanks. So I don't think that's enough Goliaths to really put up a really big fight for the carriers. And especially not if the Protoss ground army comes in. Did both of the SCVs building those turrets go down? What? That must have been some target firing. But, there's just not enough Goliaths there. I mean, of course, if they focus down the carriers, that'd be great, but... Oh, no, don't go in with it. But yeah, the goons won't allow that. Between the high ground, yep. SCVs are getting picked off by the carriers. And they're losing interceptors, but really, interceptors are so cheap. There is just, like, no SCVs at the natural and very few in the main. What is going on? Alright, so the third base is up again, and he probably transferred SCVs, that's why there's so few. He's trying to take a semi-hidden fourth, but I really don't know if Mong has the resources to do this. I mean... What can I say? He's trying to double down, and if he can hold it off and get up his fourth base, he'll be at 4 bases, and the Protoss will be at 3, nearly mined out at 2 of those 3. If he can pull it off, he'll be in a great spot. But I mean, I really don't think it's going to happen. Alright, so, carriers versus mech. Terran goes for a siege tank Goliath, with a focus on the mass Goliath. Usually the Protoss will counter the counter, aka they'll go against the Goliaths by getting Templar. And of course, the reason is you just need so many Goliaths to take out the carriers, or even just to force them back. That Psystorm against the Goliaths becomes actually pretty darn good. But man, there's just... Not only are there so few Goliaths, there doesn't even look like there's very many more building. I haven't seen any Goliaths coming to reinforce this in a pretty long time. The carriers are outnumbering the Goliaths here, which... that's a serious, serious problem. And, I mean, the second the Goliaths... Alright, so we got some reinforcement Goliaths. And did they snipe a carrier there, or did they just get an interceptor really close to the carrier? Alright, upgrades are looking good for the Goliaths. They have 2 attack, 1 armor. Turrets are finally going down. I'm actually sort of surprised that Shuttle hasn't tried to take another base. Instead, he's added on Zealots. Of course, Zealots are very good against Goliaths. I mean, Goliaths only do 12 damage compared to the 20 that Vultures do, and Goliaths are twice as expensive as Vultures, but, I mean, that means he's trying to break him. So I really like this choice by Mong going for all these turrets. I mean, yeah, turrets don't move, but... Oh man, can he take out the Artosis Pylon? If he takes out the Artosis Pylon, he could depower both the Stargates, I think. Good harass. But yeah, so we talked before about how Mong is probably pretty, he's got some extra minerals in the bank. And that's because he's focusing on Goliaths and tanks, both of which require gas. So what is he supposed to do with his excess minerals? So first he uses it to expand. Not a bad idea, because his expansion base will have gas. That base in the bottom right. But additionally, he's making a whole lot of turrets, which turrets are super cheap. They're literally like 75 minerals. So as long as you have the SCVs and the time, you can build a ton of turrets. And those turrets, they won't actually kill the carriers, but they do an excellent job zoning them out. So now that position that Mong has is pretty decently fortified, and the carriers really just can't attack into it and pick off things anywhere near the way they used to. He's going to lose a whole lot of interceptors if he tries. I'd really like to see if the carriers have attack upgrades on the interceptors. I don't know if I missed that. 3 attack, 2 armor on the mech. Oh, free Templar, free Templar. And the Vulture's like, nope, we don't want it. Alright, they took it anyway. And are they gonna... Oh, and the second one! Oh, now that sucks. So carriers are usually considered to be decently gas intensive. I mean, they're not as gas intensive as some units. So to fill a carrier up with interceptors is 550 minerals, 250 gas. So it's almost a 2-to-1 minerals to gas. So that... What? Covert ops? We can have ghosts? Oh man. Even double barracks ghost? What? So what we're going to see is lockdown, which, let's be honest, ghosts are paper thin. I mean, they got like 45 health, but yeah, ghosts are paper thin. But you cast a single lockdown on a carrier, and it's as good as dead. You know, it can't micro, can't attack. It's... That being said, I think there's only like 6 carriers still. I mean, it's enough to snipe tanks and be annoying, but they're not gonna, you know, not gonna break the bank. And we talked about before, you know, if Mong held it off, he's on 4 bases now, so he's going to be able to put up a considerable fight. He's got that Goliath mass, so the carriers can't really attack into it. Oh. Some less than intelligent zealots bringing a couple mines into the Protoss army. Man. So I just feel like each game here, Shuttle's had opportunities, and he's just giving Mong all the time in the world to counter him. You know, game 1 it was, you know, I'm not going to take a 3rd base, I'm just going to go for Arbiters and then not recall. You know, game 2 it's, okay, I'm going to go for carriers. My carriers are going to outnumber the Goliaths. And then, once again, I'm not going to expand and I'm not going to attack you. It's really odd choice. And so you look at this, you know, bottom right, I don't think it's been scouted by Shuttle, but I mean, it's completely undefended. So alright, Zealots are running in, they got speed. We got a few Psystorms. Carriers are trying to pick off the tanks. But, oh man, he's losing so much. I mean, he had a ton of Zealots there, but they just ran into mine after mine after mine. The turrets funneled them together, and none of the carriers have gone down, but the tank line is just so deep, and there's plenty of Goliaths left. You know, add that to the part where the Terran's probably mining better than the Protoss, and I mean, that's... I mean, alright, so the carriers did stay alive. So that's the one thing going for him. But, and he's going to take this base with, just with the thought that, you know, I have air superiority, so you can't get on this base. But yeah, I mean, Mong's had enough time. He's got his counters ready. He's got his ghost. I mean, lockdown's been researched. I bet the ghosts have their, they might even have the sight range increased. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they have cloak. But so this could be just one of those fights where it's like, oh yeah, Pimpus Blake upcoming. Fortunately, that science vessel got sniped. That's unfortunate. I mean, throw down an EMP, and the carriers automatically lose, you know, a 1/3 of their health. Alright, here we got 4 ghosts. They're moving out. I would expect to see a cloak pretty soon. There is an observer. There wasn't an observer before, but there is one now. So, main is mined out, natural's mined out. Shuttle took a 5th base at the 12 o'clock, but we'll have to see if he can actually hold it. What are all these Is Mong taking the 6 o'clock base? Is that why these SCVs are transferring through here? That's going to be a really hard base to to hold. Yeah. It looks like Shuttle saw it. And there's not even a CC there. It's just going to be distance mining. Is this a trap? Oh, it's a trap! Oh! Quick! Oh, yes, yes! Not EMP, sorry. Lockdown. That was... Oh, man, I think it was a trap! That was so awesome! So, the observer stayed with the goons, and so now there's two carriers were sniped instantly. And it looks like at least that one is also going to be taken out. The other carriers are trying to help, but it's just not going to happen. Come on, quick, before the lockdown wears off. You got to finish it, you got to finish it. Does he not have vision? No, he's got to have vision. Maybe he doesn't have vision. Alright, scan. You got to scan on the high ground. Scan on the high ground. That carrier's going to escape in just a few seconds. No! So he whittled down the interceptors, but... Oh, man. He could have gotten another free one. So unlike StarCraft 2, Ghosts can't actually cast EMP, which is one of the reasons why they're terrible. That, and that they have virtually no damage and virtually no health, you know. All good reasons. So all the Templar are getting sniped by vultures. Looks like two of them... Actually, no, most of them survived. So I saw an observer a few seconds ago. It looked like Shuttle didn't want that to happen again. What's going on here? Oh, there's the observer. Yeah, you can see it on the wall. Alright, so here come the ghosts. And the carriers run away. Fraidy cats. Nice storm on the tanks at the front. I was going to say, Mong should have just a huge army with how long he's been building up. And we have a command center. I'm not sure where that command center is from. Might be from the natural. Oh, did you see that? That was a lucky storm in my... Alright, I was going to say, I can hear... I could hear the ghosts just attacking. It looked like there was like a ghost hiding under that command center. So he did actually get two two lockdowns off, which is rather nice. There's another one. The ghosts outnumber the carriers. The ghosts outnumber the carriers. Come on. Do they not have energy? Do they not have energy? So, best case scenario, there's a single carrier that has interceptors. Okay, it looks like one of them might have... Okay, so some of those carriers already the lockdown wore off. But still, another two of them should die. And I like what Mong was doing there. He focused the farther away carrier down first. Alright, so Mong should have the superior army. The carriers are down to literally one. And for some reason he hasn't he hasn't killed the 12 o'clock yet, but he could. And we have some panic archons here. And here, thank you for the donation. Free carrier. So yeah, Mong... It looks like he's won this game, so third base is mined out for Shuttle. So Shuttle is still mining on two bases. But there's really no reason why he should be able to. This 12 o'clock is as good as dead. I mean, yeah, so there's some Templar, but I mean, Templar can't even really get in range of tanks. You know, if you're a... I mean, I say that, and then of course the Goliaths just walk right into Psystorm range. So, alright, so I'm going to say this again and hope that I don't get, just end up completely... Alright, that base, yeah. I mean, that base was forfeit, now it is destroyed. Good. And since the carrier's all gone, there's really nothing to keep Mong in his base. I mean, there's no Arbiter tech. I don't think any carriers have been remade, and even if there were carriers remade, you know, they really shouldn't be. Looks like the barracks are actually... Wow. You know very little is happening when in a game like this, 30 minutes and there's a single vulture being microed against Templar. Alright. Hero Ghost throws down 2 lockdowns. And he's trying to single-handedly kill the carriers. Uh-oh. 5 Templar, though. What just happened? Did they all just die from, like, 2 tank shots? Wow. That was slaughter. But where are the Goliaths? Those carriers might escape. Alright, yeah. GG is called by Shuttle. His carriers did not work out. I don't know if his problem was stopping at 8 carriers or if it was just not being aggressive enough with them. But Mong held, he took a greedy 4th, and he came up with a nice counter with those ghosts. And the ghosts, they paid for themselves pretty well. So GG. Game 2 goes to Mong, and now we are heading to Game 3. If it's like the previous series, it'll probably be on Electric Circuit. So I will see you guys in the next game. See you then.